are just after 7 o'clock, so I'll call tonight's city council meeting to order. And Karen, can we have a roll call, please?
This time I'm ready. Councilmember Husnick.
Here.
Councilmember Byström.
Here.
Councilmember Munson. Councilmember Valento. And Mayor Bain.
Here. I'd like to invite everyone to rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, we have an agenda before you this evening. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, and our agenda is approved. Our next item this evening is open forum. Open forum is any interested party's opportunity to address council on any topic of your choosing. And we'll see if we've got anybody signed up for open forum this evening. Also mention that on tonight's agenda, we do have a closed session right after open forum, and so during that session, we will be moving into another room, and then we'll be back for the remainder of our agenda, so just a heads up on that. Okay, first up, David Madsen, did you want to speak in open forum, or did you want to?
You know, we'll wait. Item D, I could possibly speak on that at that time.
You sure can. You sure can.
Okay.
If you want to delay
Sure.
comment until then, that is
Yep.
fine. Very good. And Mr. Hoagie, Al Hoagie.
Good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
Al Hauge, live at 21750 Forest Road, Forest Lake. And I'm here tonight on behalf of FLA, our Forest Lake Area Athletic Association, in regards to bringing back the community night. This is the night when we take on police and fire and anybody else, like Dave's crew, in a softball game, a doubleheader, and it'll be on the 23rd this year. We have other games and inflatables that'll be out there for all kids, families to enjoy. Free popcorn throughout the night. I'm gonna definitely make sure that's taking place. And our concessions will be open for the evening. We also have a local band that is playing this year, St. Croix Crossings. Most of you, I think, or a number of you may know Doc Ottemeyer, Rich Ottemeyer. That's his band. They played at the 4th of July for about the last 6 years now. And it proves to be a fun night, and Public Safety is looking to bring the trophy back to them again. They've, I think you've kept it every year, haven't you? Yep. Yeah, okay. So this year, I opened it up to not just FLA coaches, but other members of FLA, okay? Because we're all a family together, and we're all a community together. So it should prove to be pretty fun, because I know there's some younger people that aren't coaching that'll be playing. So I'm looking forward to a fun evening, and all the festivities start at 5 o'clock when we unlock the gates. And tell your friends, tell your families, everybody come on out, and it'll be a good time. So any questions of anybody?
Sounds like you're bringing in the ringers.
I'm gonna try to.
All right.
I know I got 5 girls that I coached at the high school for 15 years that are coming back with their little kids, so I'm trying to convince them to play that night. They were all very good players. 3 are head coaches now at other schools, so there you go. I gotta do what I have to do, you know?
Packing the roster.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
But it should prove to be a fun night. The other thing, if I may, just take a couple minutes. I'd like to thank Dave Adams, our Public Works Director, for the great job that he and his guys have been doing out at Fenway and our other fields throughout Forest Lake. I've had nothing but compliments, and I said compliments are definitely due to that man. So the day that Dave wasn't here and it was donut day, he took the day off, but all of his guys got to eat a lot of donuts, because I picked up, I think, 3 dozen donuts for all the guys from the bakery.
Fabulous.
So,
Fabulous.
did they save you any, Dave? I didn't think they would. They were taking 2 or 3 at a time when they left lunch. So, thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Everything's going well.
Excellent.
Very
Thank you.
well.
Good to
Okay,
hear.
thank
All right. Okay, with that, we will
Mayor Bain.
close open forum.
Mayor Bain, I do have someone online, Susan Hanson, and I don't know if she is online for open forum.
Closed session.
Oh, that is, okay, sorry.
Very good. Anyone else for open forum? Okay, we'll close open forum and move on to our closed session this evening. Does someone have a motion to move us into closed session?
I can do that, I guess. I don't have the exact wording. I hope I get it right. Madam Mayor, make a motion that we move into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute, Section 13D.03, Subchapter 1B for labor negotiations. And after the closed session, we will return back to the council chambers to continue our agenda.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Oppose, and we're in closed session. Moving to our regular agenda this evening, council, before you, we have Resolution 882202, which is for a minor subdivision at 402 8th Street Southwest, and
Do we do consent agenda?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
or we could do the consent agenda, yes. Thank you. Council, before you is consent agenda items 7A through 7K, and I will entertain a motion or any changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, and consent agenda is approved. And now we will move on to our regular agenda and the minor subdivision resolution before us. Abby, are you presenting?
am. Yep.
Perfect.
Gabriel Seaman owns a single-family residential lot at 402 8th Street Southwest. He is, could I get the screen pulled up, please? Thank you. The property is kind of unique in that it fronts both 8th Street Southwest and 9th Street Southwest. The applicant is, sorry. This way. Sorry, everyone. There we go. It's a unique property in that it fronts both 8th Street Southwest and 9th Street Southwest. The property owner is proposing to split the lot into two separate parcels. The existing home that is on the property would still access off of 8th Street Southwest. There'd be no additional improvements to that site. A new parcel would be created that would access off of 9th Street Southwest, that parcel A. Both properties do conform to the zoning code requirements for the creation of new lots. I will note that there have been a couple things that are brought up by staff. We would like to, we are requesting customary drainage and utility easements around both properties, but we're also requesting a drainage and utility easement bisect parcel A to accommodate for parcel B's drainage. This was reviewed by the Planning Commission on July 27th. They have recommended approval with 7 conditions, including a condition recommended by the Parks, Trails, Lakes Commission of a $3,500 fee in lieu of land dedication for a new park or for parkland. So staff is recommending you approve this tonight, and we have drafted a resolution for your consideration. If the council is favorable, you'd move to approve the resolution approving the minor subdivision. Any questions?
Thank you, Abby. Council, any questions for Abby this evening?
So these lots conform to everything we've been doing so far, and we're not, if we're asking anything special, and
No special circumstances at all.
And the 7 conditions in staff memo those are still intact, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
well, Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion that we adopt resolution 0808-22-02 with the 7 conditions attached.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, and motion carries. All right, next for council's consideration is item 8B, Resolution 882203, Eve Forest Lake Minor Subdivision Site Plan Review.
It is not a site plan review, I apologize, that is a minor subdivision. The site plan was
I'm sorry.
reviewed by the planning commission. That was my error in my staff report. The applicants, it's Norhart Construction, are proposing a industrial complex of 2 buildings located and 2 properties located along Scandia Trail North or Highway 97. The action before you tonight is to split the property into 2. There are several different actions that they're requesting of the city. One is to adjust some lot lines with 2 different properties, to split the lot, and then to eventually put on 2 buildings onto the site that would be their industrial campus to support their multifamily construction operations. Both of the lots meet the standard zoning requirements in the district. One of the items that staff has discussed is access into the site would be a shared driveway, and we are requesting a shared driveway access easement and agreement for both properties so that there are no constraints in the future accessing the site. The Planning Commission did review this on July 27th, and they have recommended 13 conditions, one of which includes a Parks, Trails, Lakes Commission recommendation of a cash fee in lieu of land dedication for the property. Since that time, one of the conditions has been determined to not be necessary. The applicant is aware the city has the power to alleviate traffic issues on the site, and therefore the city or staff would recommend that the condition number 13 is removed from the resolution. So that way you would move to approve, if the council was favorable, you would move to approve resolution before you with the withdrawal or the removal of condition number 13. Number 14?
Your Honor, if I may, there are 14 conditions, and Abby's referring to the last condition.
Oh, thank you,
To
yes.
be-
Okay, so
To
it's
clarify, it's
To
the
clarify.
right out.
Yeah.
Yes,
only
the
of
right
traffic
in, right out.
patterns and
The Planning
safety.
Commission is concerned just the right in, right out until 97 is developed could create some traffic issues. City attorney has advised us that we have the right to enforce traffic. If there is a traffic issue, that we have the right to just go in and work with the owner to correct that without needing this condition. So then it would be a motion to approve with the resolution with the removal of condition number 14.
And did you say that the driveway, the shared driveway, is it an easement?
It is, and that is embedded as a condition of approval into the resolution.
That is in here, okay.
Yep, condition number 4, prior to the release of deed, they'd submit a shared access easement and maintenance agreement.
Thank you. And I don't think I have any other questions. Any other questions,
No.
members of council?
Oh, I don't think so. My greatest concern was Highway 97, and it looks like it's been addressed.
Right.
You know, the traffic
Yeah.
control and the redevelopment of 97, and are we are those all considerations as we're
Yes.
planning? So, and it.
Hopefully something will be done with 97.
Yes. Well, with that, I would move council approve resolution 882203, resolution approving Eve Forest Lake Minor Subdivision, striking condition number 14, and otherwise the resolution as indicated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, and motion carries. Okay, going on to 8C, which is, thank you for being here this evening. Resolution 882404 and Resolution 882205. Intent to reimburse city through bond proceeds. And Kevin?
Mayor and City Council, the two resolutions in front of you are for just indicating that if the city were to issue bonds in 2023, that they would be reimbursing for costs incurred in 2022 or prior to those bonds being issued. Through previous discussions with the economic impact on the fire trucks and equipment delays, there were planned to be equipment certificates issued for those in 2022. With all the delays, those have been pushed back to 2023 and 2024. The city still plans on having to issue those equipment certificates for those fire trucks due to the timing of when the bonds may be issued, whether it be early in 23 or towards the later half of 23. There's certain requirements from the IRS that if the city would have to front some of those costs, for example, and pay for the chassis in early 2023 and not issue bonds until later in 23, that this resolution needs to be passed by council. Just to say that we can use bond proceeds to, and hence reimburse ourselves that cash. If this resolution is not in place, that we are not allowed to issue bonds after the fact of costs being incurred. And this is also true for water treatment plant number 4. With the costs being split between 2 years, the fund is healthy enough to incur those costs in 2022. Those costs will be carrying over into 2023 with these bonds planned for being issued in 23 to reimburse those costs. It should be noted that these resolutions are not committing the city to issue bonds. It's not committing when they would issue bonds or if they'll issue bonds. It's just a resolution in place through our budget discussions that will be coming up later this month and September for the plan for those funding those projects, that they're in place if we do need them.
World gets complicated, doesn't it?
It is, yeah. So it says strictly, so if the city pays for costs, for example, the fire truck chassis come in early in 2023, but the city hasn't issued any bonds yet, we would not be able to use bond proceeds to, in essence, reimburse ourselves for those costs. The city would have to fund that cash out of pocket with cash reserves.
So
And we'll be going with our budget discussions, going into more detail with our how the city plans to fund not only these projects but others going forward.
And I think that was going to be my request. You know, I understand that we're not necessarily under any obligation here, and that eases my mind a little bit. But I would really like to do a little deeper dive into this in the context of that full budget discussion.
Correct. We will be going into more discussions on how the plan for this. It was just recommended by Ellers, our bond counsel, that we get these passed as we're working through our proposed budget currently, that we just have these passed so they're indeed in place in time as costs are being incurred for water treatment number 4 specifically. So then this is in place, so then costs incurred now in the fall related to that project, if we need bonds to help cover those costs, that this resolution is in place, then we're all set up for the future if need be.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Refresh my memory on the timing of those, the water treatment, those costs are 2022 costs, correct? So hence the need, hence the need in 2022 for this resolution, but the fire trucks are 2023, is that right? Or are we expecting that some of those fire costs would be still in 2022?
So the water treatment plant is currently being constructed, so there'll be 2022, but there'll also be 2023
Correct,
construction.
understood, okay.
So this resolution covers the ability to recoup those costs.
Understood.
Depending when we sell the bonds, whether it's a spring or even if it's a fall, then we can recoup the early 2023 expenditures. Same thing with the fire trucks. We don't really anticipate the fire trucks to come in until later in 23, possibly 24, depending on the schedule. But if in some places, at some point, the contract calls that we have to make a payment on the chassis of the fire truck, so that would be half, and we just don't know when that's going to be. So if it's early in '23, before we sell the certificates, we want to be able to recoup that cost.
Thank you. It was the sequencing of timing that I was
Yep,
needing to
absolutely.
get squared.
It's more of a precautionary just to make sure, based on those timing needs, that the city doesn't find itself in a hole unable to do that if it comes up.
Right.
It's just a just-in-case kind of thing is what I'm understanding. Is that correct? I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's a just in case, but with probably a very strong possibility we'll be selling bonds next year.
okay.
Understood. So so tonight there are two resolutions before council. One is on page 101 of our packet. I'll take a stab at making the first motion on the first resolution. So I would move that we approve Resolution 882204, declaring the official intent of the city of Forest Lake, Minnesota, to reimburse certain expenditures from the proceeds of bonds to be issued by the city.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. I'll take the lead on the second as well. Resolution, I would move that council approve Resolution 882205, declaring the official intent of the city of Forest Lake, Minnesota, to reimburse certain expenditures from the proceeds of bonds to be issued by the city.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? And motion carries. All right, moving on to item 8D. And this is our Third Lake Estates Letter of Credit Reduction Number 4 warranty. And I'll have you hold for just a minute. We'll have staff present first, and then we'll provide an opportunity for you to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay there, but just going to hear staff's presentation first.
In August of 2019, David Madsen entered into a development agreement with the city for the development of Third Lake Estates. That development agreement was included in your packet for your review. On June 3rd of this year, the final work was completed, and just tonight you released, as part of the consent agenda, all of the letter of credit with the exception of 10%. And that 10% is a warranty that we hold for a period of 2 years after full project acceptance, just to ensure that we have funding available in the event that there are needs associated with those public improvements. Mr. Madsen has requested the city release a full letter of credit amount, or if favorable, swap the letter of credit for a promissory note. Promissory note doesn't give the city a financial guarantee as a letter of credit does. Even though that Mr. Madison would like to talk about this with you, staff is still recommending the city retain the 10% for a period of 2 years, as is our customary practice, as well as to give us the financial assurance that we have funding available should any problems arise with the public infrastructure in that development.
Okay, so that starts from the time that the project is accepted by the city?
Correct.
And when did that occur
June 3rd
of this year?
of this year.
Question on the promissory note. Is there a copy of the promissory note that is proposed in our packet?
No,
Has one been drafted?
No.
no.
Is it planned to be a secured promissory note? Is there any security? Or
Yeah,
any-
there could be some security. And just to reiterate on this just a little further back, that development, the infrastructure, has been in since 2019, the fall of 2019. So it's went through 3 frost cycles or winters. And when the curb repair was done in the final lift, it was more about the chipping, from the snow plowing or the contractors out there. And also there was a couple of hairline cracks. There was no settlement in the road on 224th Court North. There was one small area, about a 4x4 area on 224th Street North, which was repaired. So being through those 3 frost cycles, we've more than had adequate time for that infrastructure to react, and it's storm sewer, city sewer, private well out there. And so, you know, another 2 years and having to extend that line of credit, you know, it's just added cost. And you know, we're looking for a better way to be more cost effective with our dollars, so.
Yeah, because the 10%, that kind of the standard amount, you know.
That is.
A lot of contracts are done with 5% retainage. And so I guess I wasn't sure that we went that amount.
10% is the city's standard, that 10% 2 years. We did look back through development agreements. It is the standard that we've used.
Are there circumstances where we have taken a promissory note or some other, and then do we have standards on what level of security we would require or collateralization?
The development agreement does allow him to swap the letter of credit for cash, or else even post a bond. Those are spelled out in the agreement. Mr. Madison has requested the promissory note specifically.
Understood.
Would any of those things help you? You know,
You're
about-
right, you know, it's about conserving dollars and you know, that would, you know, or maybe it's an attachment to a line of credit that's reduced. You know, it's the amount, the 55,000, you know, to go out and refinance that again. You know, that's where the cost savings are for me, so.
Understand. To me, this is more of a policy decision for me. I'm hesitant to, you know, this is like, we do this once and we will have, without a stated policy and without some pretty, I'll step back and I'll say, it seems like what we currently provide is our credit policy, and here are the number of options that we've provided. You're asking for a path that is different than that. And I'm challenged to make this exception on a case-by-case basis, because again, we do it once and this is gonna become the standard. I do have concerns just in, not related to your project, but just projects in general, of there are times where we do need to fall back on these, and we need the most secure means possible. And so loosening those standards gives me some concern, especially as we are moving into a period of potential overall more challenging financial times. And so for that reason, I'm very reluctant to grant this tonight unless I hear something that's specific to the project that is unique, or perhaps an alternative of a security measure that for whatever reason means a greater security interest to the city, but might be of better ease for you.
Well, what about, I mean, it's already went through 3 frost cycles. What about just 1 year?
So understand that, and we're not gonna be in a position, so I'm happy to give you an opportunity to speak, but we're not gonna be in a position of like negotiating tonight.
Okay.
So I think we have a question of, council should make a decision tonight on whether we are ready to act or whether we would like to give staff some further direction to communicate with Mr. Madsen. I don't wanna be in a position of having to negotiate here tonight as well.
And Dave, I would agree, I mean, that, you know, it's really a tough situation that we can't, or we don't want to change standards from one to the other.
And
you know
I
what mean?
understand that.
And that's the problem with it. And tonight, we don't have a full council, and I would love to hear their opinion on this thing. And I also would like to talk to the engineers too. I don't think one of our engineers is here tonight, and to find out exactly what kind of a problem this would create. And I think, unfortunately, I mean, I've known you for years, that I absolutely agree that, you know, that you would follow up on anything, but the idea is we can't change standards for one builder to the, or just developer from one to the other.
And
We
the
just can't
project
do
is
that.
built out, they're finishing the last house.
Yeah,
And I understand if it was a 100-lot project, there's a lot more risk, but,
yeah.
you know, 10 lots and only, or 11 lots, but only 10 of them have curb and gutter and storm sewer, so.
Unfortunately, I don't see a circumstance that's gonna
Yeah.
help you. But I would like to hear the rest of the council's opinion on that, so therefore, I mean, I'd make a motion that we table this until the next full council meeting.
Okay,
So,
I second that.
All right,
Motion to table, and we will table it until our next council meeting.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep,
Can we vote?
We should probably vote on that. Yes, all those in favor of tabling, signal by saying aye.
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 Oppose, and item is tabled. All right, that closes our regular agenda this evening, and we will move into our working session on the budget meeting workshop calendar working session. Just a quick note about our working sessions. Anything that is discussed in working session is for workshop purposes, discussion only. Anything that we discuss that requires official action will come back before council at a future meeting for official action. And with that, let's open it up.
Mayor and members of the city council, before you in the packet is a proposed schedule for the budget process for fiscal year 2023. This has proven so far to be a pretty challenging budget year and will continue to be a challenging budget year with two contracts that still need to be negotiated, health insurance that we have not have information on yet, and other things that are going on in the city. The proposed schedule starts on Monday, August 22nd. That is a regular city council meeting date. We are proposing that the EDA not meet that day and that the meeting starts at 6 o'clock so that we can go over budget. In that session, we will present you with the general fund budget and what that looks like and any changes and proposals that are in it. We'll have obviously a general fund budget discussion, but we'll also then give you a look at what the levy looks like at that time. And when I say the levy, that's not only for general fund operations, that'll be for capital equipment, capital improvement, EDA, and parks. So we will explain what we're proposing in that levy and why we're proposing it and some of the challenges that we may still face before December with that levy. We're proposing on Monday, September 12th, which is a regular council meeting again in the discussion session, to give you a look at the next 10 years of what we believe the general fund budget and the levies were going to look like. We've talked the last couple of years about a 10-year plan. We're finally getting to the point where we have numbers to put against that. We'll try to walk you through what we see for the next 10 years. And what the plan here is, if we can get this in place, that every year we will amend that and have another year added on to the end of it so that we were constantly updating it and looking at it as situations change or circumstances change. So we'll try to give you a look at what the general fund budget might look like and what the levies might look like for the next 10 years. Then just a note, which really isn't budget related, but on Wednesday, September 14th, we've scheduled a board and commissions training. That is for the city council, for the plan commission, and the Parks, Trails, and Lake Commission. That again will be begin at 6 o'clock. The first portion will be general information, general training, with the latter portion being more contoured toward the Plan Commission. So if people want to leave after the first hour, hour and a half, they're more than welcome to, because the Plan Commission will be towards the end of the meeting or specific. We have a council workshop on the 19th. We will then present what we're looking at the utility funds, particularly the water, sewer, and stormwater funds, and what that looks like, if there's going to be any adjustments to rates or things like that. We will cover all the other miscellaneous funds that are of importance. And then we will try to give you also a general fund update and see if by that time we may have a police settlement, we may have health insurance, we may have liabilities, workers' comp insurance numbers, which we don't have and will not probably have until when we present the budget initially. And as you know, we get some of those things later from the state and from those, so that's why September's preliminary levy isn't always accurate, and for the last at least 3 years, we've gone down from that because we've probably conservatively budgeted some of those rates. So Monday, September 26th, we have a city council meeting, which we propose that you adopt the preliminary levy, which you have to do before the end of September. So we will have a discussion then. Monday, October 17th, the City Council Workshop. We will continue budget discussion and update depending what's there and what new numbers we have. Kind of to be determined at this point. Same thing with the 14th, the Council Workshop session. We'll try to give you an update. If we don't have major updates, we may shift that to a council meeting in the discussion session, depending what other items may also be needed for workshop with the council. And then finally, on Monday, December 12th, we will hold the Truth in Taxation public hearing and ask the City Council to adopt, pardon me, it should be the 2023 levy and the 2023 budget. Didn't change it, sorry. That's a proposed schedule. If you have different dates in mind or want to know information, you can. Again, the budget is still under creation. We won't have all the information by the first session, but we'll have a good idea where we're going with the general fund and the levies. And at that time, as we said earlier with the resolutions, we will talk about bonding at that point as well and the need to do that. Also, bonding will give you kind of a bonding forecast at the 10-year as well. Questions?
No questions from me. I think this looks like a great schedule. It's,
Yep.
Yep.
looks like
Agreed.
well laid out. I look forward to really seeing the full 10-year view in September. But obviously, first things first, 2023 first. And so, yeah, it looks like we've got enough reaction time to make adjustments as needed. I think, I don't have any other input. No, this looks good.
Okay.
We are short a couple council members tonight. Can you just make sure we do a follow-up email just to make sure that these dates are on
Certainly.
calendars? Even though it's in the packet, just make sure we're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, let's move to staff updates, and Karen.
Thank you, Mayor Bain. I just wanted to remind everyone that primary elections are tomorrow. That will go until 8 p.m. And also, the filing for candidacy opened on August 2nd for council. Opened on August 2nd, and that will continue through August 16th, when that will be closed at 5 p.m. If anybody's interested, I have forms available. All you have to do is stop in and see me.
Good.
Any questions?
Any questions for Karen? All right. Dan?
Mayor, members of council, one update for you tonight. If on your way into council chambers this morning or this evening, out front, you may have noticed there's a new sculpture out there. I want to thank Dave and Public Works for getting that sculpture moved. That is the sculpture that the Downtown Beautification Group last year purchased and put in the roundabout where the Christmas tree goes. But after seeing it placed out there, they found it to be a little bit small for that roundabout, so they requested to have it moved here. So that has been moved and is now installed out front. So if you haven't seen it, be sure and stop by on your way out tonight to take a look at the new sculpture that we have here at City Hall.
That's a good place for it.
Yeah.
Everybody'd agree.
Very good. Thank you, Dan. Abby?
No special report.
Patrick?
Yeah, just to reiterate, I wanted to announce again that Board and Commission training, September 14th at 6 o'clock. I think it will be a good thing for all boards and commissions, and we will try to begin to make that a more regular portion of our work here, whether it's every year or every other year. So we will also probably videotape that for onboarding any new council members or commission members so that they can at least look at the tape and see what they present. So.
Fabulous. Thank you. Pete?
Your Honor, Council, I have no update.
Very good. Dave? Chief Peterson?
No updates.
Right. And Kevin?
No updates.
All right, we will come back up for council updates. Start with Councilmember Byström.
Nothing from me, Mayor Bain.
All right, Councilmember Husnick.
Yeah, Since the last council meeting, I attended 2 separate meetings. One was the Joint Powers Fire Board agenda. And there we just discussed the budget. It's coming up for a new budget year. And we talked about wages and all kinds of things, especially with the new fire truck coming on board. And so there's lots of things that need to be worked on there too. And then also we had our airport commission meeting, which took place last Wednesday evening. And again, we looked at our CIP and was finally able to talk about our budget because we finally had the audit was done and it sounded like we're in pretty good shape there. And we just had a little project done out to take care of some water issues. And now the state is going to give us some money to fix the area where the tie downs area, so that won't be soft or anything. So, and it's a 95.5 project. So, and our budget is in pretty good shape there, so we're going to continue on with that. So,
Excellent.
that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Excellent, very good. Just quick report out, I also attended the same joint fire board meeting that Councilmember Husnick just mentioned, and also tonight's EDA meeting was in a little bit more of a workshop session in that we did hear a report from our agent on the Headwaters 123, just got a kind of a market update and a market report from him. Also of Substance, got an update from Abby on just where things are with comprehensive plan, next steps related to the comprehensive plan, and took some preliminary feedback related to budget. So it's that time of year where everyone's kind of looking towards the budget and looking ahead to what's next. And so it was kind of the topics on tonight's EDA meeting as well. That is the end of our planned agenda this evening. I will entertain a motion to adjourn unless anyone has anything further.
So moved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and we're adjourned. Good night, everyone.